Hey, good morning. It really is all about the innate compassion for one another. And this isn't a matter of opinion, it's what we're born with. We're born naked, helpless, screaming the top of our lungs. We need help. Come out of the womb just in need in every possible way, or we would die. So, compassion is innate. And we all have to find it somewhere in our hearts that having a passion for one another is the only way for survival. Given, at one point we can trudge off into the woods and build campfires and, murder rabbits and fish and, live in a mud and stone hut. We can do that. We can be survivalists. But in reality, there is no freedom unless everybody is okay. And I think there's a lot of fear when somebody's like, the welfare system or something. They look at the system and they're like, we can't have a welfare system taking care of everybody. You know what? There is no freedom unless everybody is okay. You can't be okay with your family and all happy and hunky-dory and your neighbors are not and think that's freedom. It doesn't work that way at all. Never. We live in a society where there's a lot of things forced upon us through a whole lot of government agencies, and they think that we're all just gonna grow up and be able to fend for ourselves and get a job flipping burgers and screws, and everything's gonna be okay, and that's part of the big lie. That's part of the big corporate. It's a corporate democracy, where the illusion of freedom through propaganda, it's an illusion of freedom. The only real freedom that you're able to gain is in silence. Pure silence. If you can capture silence without any worries from yesterday or from tomorrow, then you can gain a moment of freedom. So, as time goes on, it's about survival. It's not, I'm going to survive and take everything for myself and make sure I'm going to make it. That's great and all. But that, again, is an illusion because technology is our friend. I just heard a quote from Mr. Buckminster Fuller, and he was talking about very specifically that some people that he like, this is like in the early 70s, we need to get rid of all the technology, and it's just messing everything up. And Buckminster Fuller was like, all right, well, take everything that contributes to technology and the technology. So we're going to get rid of, all the cars, all the trucks. This is in the 70s. All the computers, all the railroad tracks, all the engines, trains and everything. And see what happens. There'd be millions of people would die from starvation. And you look at now, it's true. Technology is our friend. There's no doubt about it. As population grows, technology is needed to help like survival. That's it. So, as simple as this cell phone that I'm talking into, and it's recording video, the cell phone is very helpful and very powerful to help many, many people. At this point, it is a revolutionary tool. There's no doubt about that. So this is election day, and this is something to think about. It's so easy to yell your party or your favorite person that's running or whatever. But if that person isn't truly helping everybody in need, it's not just like, here in Seattle, you have a lot of, local media and politicians like, what are we going to do with the homeless? They've moved into the parks. It is, all of you that are from other places, look up Seattle Times, look up Seattle News, homeless, just read about it. And there's so many homeless here, man. There really is. And it's an example of what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter why they're homeless. It doesn't matter why they're homeless. Drugs, money, deaths, it could be all kinds of things. They are. People blame, oh, it's your choice. No. You know what? We do have a responsibility to take care of ourselves, right? That's not what I'm talking about. This is a bigger picture. We're talking about a society and a conditioning society that was formed a couple thousand plus 2,500 years ago. That's the system we live in. So I vote for those that I think will care a little bit more about the guy that's really in need, the family or this government, if you don't already know, runs on war. Just listen to how many times you hear conflict and battleground, and it's all a war, man. It's a duality. It's a war that we're going to see today. A war, this side against that side. But really, both sides can't exist without the other. That's my whole point. Survival is, unless you're a survivalist and you can, you have everything you possibly need to survive without anybody else doing anything. Even that goes to the point of we really need one another, and all energy should be put towards the contribution I'm not talking about financially. I'm just talking about being kind to each other. So those that, I know my phone's probably shaking a little bit. Sometimes people just need a little bit of kindness in their life to keep going, you know? It's, so yeah. This is, there's a lot of anger out there and frustration, and ultimately, you can scream at the top of your lungs. You can, you know, people can destroy and burn shit. Scream. I mean, I get it, you know. I grew up in the 80s punk rock movement, you know. I mean, I understand anti-fascist movements, you know. I mean, if you don't understand that the 80s punk rock movement was all about that, you should look into it. So if you listen to any 80s punk rock, I mean, that's what it's about. You know, that's where that movement sprang from, big time. You know, the corporate state, the fear of the corporate state taking control. Now, I'd rather the corporate state had more control, you know, than government politicians. The politicians are pretty much probably 90+% of them are just like completely useless. They're working for themselves, or they're, you know, I mean, at least somebody like Amazon puts money towards helping people, and that's a fact. You know, a lot of money towards helping homeless in Seattle, and all the food banks get just. I mean, Amazon tons of. I mean, it's a big conversation. You know, not like well this, I don't know, all this. Of course, this is the society we live in. It's ancient, you know. This is like, I'll use the word archaic. There's archaic rules, you know. There's archaic politicians that I hope get booted. That would be a big plus. Somebody should not ever be in Congress 35 years and be the sole, like, we're done. We're not gonna even talk about this anymore. You know, I mean, fuck those guys, right? So anyway, hug your dogs, hug your cats, say hi to your neighbor. You know, I mean, be a positive contribution. You know, be a positive contribution to the state of things. You know, whenever you say anything or make any noises, just think that somebody else is going to hear you, and they want, you know, if you hear somebody screaming off the top of their lungs because they're angry, nobody wants, I mean, you know, what the fuck? But that's the state of things. So I'm going to contribute by kindness, and you know, I think that's you know, if there wasn't kindness when I was born, I wouldn't have survived. You know, and all of you, the same thing. So now survival is upon all of us, and kindness is the key and the route to survival. It's pretty easy, really. Okay, thanks for listening. Much love. Bye.